As we realize that environmental issues are part of our everyday decisions and that the environment does not follow political borders, we understand that the need for industries, government agencies, and citizens to work together is essential to achieve environmental success. In Contra Costa County in the San Francisco Bay Area, major oil refineries and large industrial facilities operate in communities where people work and live. In 1994, after a major release from one of the refineries, residents of Contra Costa grew tired and frustrated by the lack of information of what was in the air that they were breathing. Community members and environmental organizations decided that it was time to do something, and they created the Bucket Brigade, a community-based air sampling program.
Communities for a Better Environment, who I was working with at the time, developed a manual and a whole method to spread this idea of using bucket brigades around refineries throughout this entire county and then nationally, so that people could build their own buckets, learn how to operate air monitoring equipment, learn more about science and pollution and how their health was affected, and really take control of their environment and negotiating and working with governments and companies to reduce the air pollution. Our slogan became, "Take back your air."
So you think we got enough air, huh?
Yeah, I think this one will be good.
Okay, so
we'll get it up to Folsom tonight. I've been involved with the Bucket Brigade since its inception. I started out as a bucket sampler, and then just about a year ago, I was asked to take on the role as coordinator. I think we do. I think we do. It's my responsibility to make sure that we get a sample. If it's outside of my ability to get a sample myself, then I take my list of Bucket Brigade members, other people that have buckets in the surrounding areas, and determine which way the wind is blowing.
This is the bucket, and it's a very simple device and a very inexpensive device. It's not complicated at all. As you see, it's like a 5-gallon bucket with a lid on it, and it has an intake valve, and it has a bag inside to capture the air. I let it run for about 2 minutes, and then I turn the valve off, like so, and shut my pump down, just like that. Now, I'll let one of my co-workers or somebody that's more experienced than me to remove the sample and get it prepared to send to the lab.
The people who take the samples are actually samplers, but I have sniffers as well. Sniffers are people that actually smell an odor and would call a sampler and say, hey, do you think that we need to take a sample or something like that? Technically, anybody who's a friend of a sampler is a sniffer, whether they want to be or not, because, you know, as soon as they call up a sampler and say, oh gosh, I smelt something, or there's something really foul, your sampler's on it.
I think the Bucket Brigade is absolutely crucial, as are all citizens monitoring groups. Realistically, the federal government, the state government, the local agencies can't be everywhere at once. So we have to rely on community monitoring groups to sort of be the first line of defense. Because they're there, they see what's happening, they smell what's going on in their community. So we wanted to support that first line of defense. As a result of the Bucket Brigade, a second impact project occurred at one of the major refineries in Contra Costa County that resulted in extensive monitoring at this particular refinery. A lot of the data coming out of that monitoring project was real-time data, which means that you're seeing the results as you're taking the samples. So that this particular refinery in Contra Costa County is probably better monitored than almost any refinery in the country. And I think that that largely started with the fact that citizens were out in their communities with their buckets, watching what's going on, and that encouraged industry to also watch what's going on.